Hi Leo, welcome to February 2018. This is Leah at Fresh Astrology, and we are looking at two eclipses this month, which are really, the way I view them, is they're really like a full moon. I mean, they are a full moon and a new moon. They're just a little emphasized, an emphasis on the word little. But it's going to be true that there's a population of each sign, or population of people on the planet that have bigger events, and then the rest of us have little minimal events. So, because not everybody has got something huge going on. But what I notice about eclipses and certain conjunctions and trines and squares, it's when things line up a certain way on your chart, and so it really does depend on how it interacts with your chart too, is you can find a timing piece here. This is where the universe acts like a big clock. And so things may time with the last day of January, which is essentially, right there together with the first day of February. So things that are happening right at the end of the month and beginning of the month may time some kind of bigger issue, bigger than just your average day, but maybe not huge. It just depends. It's going to be a spectrum. Some people it's going to be smaller, some people bigger. But you do see timing of events, especially if the eclipse falls on your sun or your moon or your Venus or your Mars or any of the other planets. You're going to see something a little more significant for you. That's where the personal reading comes in handy, or just knowing how to read your own chart is handy too. And it's not trying to figure out exactly, like to totally look into a crystal ball and figure out the what. And, as an astrologer, I shy away from trying to figure out the what exactly it is. Because there are going to be themes around it, but I like to leave it a loose interpretation because there's so much free will involved in how you make decisions that lead up to that moment. This is just kind of how I look at eclipses or any significant conjunction or a relationship of the moon and the sun and the planets. February 15th is when we have the new moon eclipse, and the area of the chart that's really impacted here is kind of across the grid of Aquarius and Leo. So it is, a bigger time for you personally. All the previous stuff being said, it is a time when I think a lot of Leos will find they're making some life-changing decisions, and maybe some events come in that really kind of turn you in a new direction. When I say, especially with respect to partnerships, I want to include that partnerships means a broad swath of conditions. It can be important friendship shifts where you maybe meet new people and leave an old group of people. Sometimes this happens when we move jobs, or when we leave school, or when we go to school, or when we move. And then that you do have Jupiter down in your fourth house. So some of you may be moving, getting new neighbors, meeting new people through a variety of ways. Your social group might expand a bit. In the love department, this does signify some changes in relationships. So if you're married, then this could signify some kind of ending of an old phase, beginning of a new phase. So it's just that is going to be such a broad interpretation. It really depends on the person. It doesn't have to be bad. It could be, sometimes a phase is like, it's a phase of your marriage when you're having kids and raising kids, and then there's the phase when the kids have all gone off to school and you've got empty nest. There's a phase prior to having a baby, and then there's the phase of suddenly being expecting parents, and then there's the phase of becoming parents. So there are all these different phases in actual marriage. And then, for a few, there's the phase of the marriage has gone into the weeds, we need to get it back on track. How do we do that? So, it just depends on your situation. But there's a lot going on in partnerships. And the same kind of gamut of explanation can go into business partnerships and who you're partnering with in business. That can mean in kind of a more formal employment situation. That can be if you're in business with other people, or you have clients. The clients themselves can be these partners. They're partnering with you to do something. So this is where you're going to see the big activity, and some of it's going to kind of fall on you personally, where you change. You change your title, you change your marital status, you change your direction. But some of it's going to seem more personal, and then some of it's going to seem like it's about a particular agreement between or among people, including marriage and somebody you're dating long term. So some people could, some Leos could find themselves getting engaged or married. And then for some of you, it's going to be whoever you're partnered with, be they in business or in love, you're going to find that there's a lot going on with them. There's just a lot going on with your partner. They've got stuff going on, and it could be anything. But you may just notice, like, wow, my partner is really busy, or my partner's got a lot going on, or my partner seems really stressed out, or my partner's chattier than usual. My partner's more lit up and vivacious. Yay. That would be a good thing, right? And then toward the end of the month, that intensity on your seventh house and on you kind of smooths over, and then there's this focus on money. In some cases, if you've got a partnership, a love relationship that's deepening, it gets more intense. You're working on intimacy skills and building intimacy. There could be some of that. Or you're in discussion with partners of varying sorts around money, how the money is going to work, how do you do your taxes. Those are the things you work on with all kinds of partners. That being said, it also smooths things over and takes the pressure off the people in your world, and you can just focus on yourself, like your own financial picture and what you need, and also kind of going behind the scenes and using your ability to observe others and intuit situations. Sometimes it's around money, sometimes it's around business, sometimes it's around love, but your intuition gets heightened toward the end of the month, and and this is a typical time of year for you to focus on finances, to maybe be working behind the scenes, maybe to have other people working behind the scenes on your behalf. But this is a typical time to think about taxes, to think about your money. This is when you're kind of looking at the big picture financially, and that's where the energy goes. But as far as the eclipses, there's some kind of fork in the road event that plays out over February. I don't think it's a negative thing at all. It's kind of neutral and can be kind of go different ways depending on the person and decisions that you're making. If you want help with coaching, that's the piece. We can look at your chart. I can do chart readings. But then when it comes down to your decision-making skills and how you move forward and navigate yourself, that's where the coaching piece comes in. That's why I like adding in the coaching, because it's more practical in a lot of ways. And there's some, proven, very effective tools that people can use to start to navigate differently and more authentically and with more confidence. So you can find me at www.freshastrology.com. Also, if you have money concerns, which some of you may at the end of February, or you just want to work on money and kind of do a focus on money and finances and career, how you bring in the money, I am going to have a telecourse that starts just a little after the eclipse and goes not for 3 consecutive weeks, but it's a 3-week course. I have the dates in on the website. But we will look at your individual chart. You'll be able to kind of analyze your individual chart. I'll teach you a little bit about that. And then I will do a little coaching around money issues that people may have. There's some standard kind of money issues people have internally, sort of the psychology of money. We'll work on that and do some coaching around that. And it'll be kind of a level 1 class. This can be a series because I just discovered there's so much, there's so many layers. So we're going to kind of do a level 1 basics class. So definitely if you don't know anything about astrology, you could totally do this class. So yes, have a happy February, Leos. Take care.